What's going on, Jets fans? It's been a minute. Welcome back to Peg City Hockey. Now, today we're going to be doing a bit of a head coach searching update, whatever you want to call it, rumor mill video, even though this isn't really rumors. This is going off of creditable information coming from Elliot Friedman and the Sportsnet panel recently in the last couple of days. But yeah, there's been a lot of stuff about the Winnipeg Jets and their head coaching search. Now, I'm not going to be covering every little morsel of information that breaks, like I've said before in the past. I will cover the smaller things that happen with the Winnipeg Jets and rumors on my Twitter. It's just an easier, more compact place that I can share my thoughts on smaller things that happen throughout the day. So if you haven't already, go follow my Twitter. Link is in the description, as well as my Instagram if you don't use Twitter. I don't use my Instagram as much, but it's still a great way to be able to get in contact with me if you ever need to ask questions or you just want to talk about some Jets-related news. So with all that being said, let's talk about this list that was put out there by Sportsnet talking about the Winnipeg Jets and their potential coaching options. So we look at it right here, we pull it up, and obviously they're the one that we know, the guy we've been talking about for weeks now, actually even screw weeks, since the end of the season we've been talking about that, and that is Barry Trotz. Now, at this time, there are 3 head coaches that the Winnipeg Jets have really considered for this position at this time, that being Barry Trotz, Bruce Cassidy, and Jim Montgomery. Now, these are all the possible candidates with real ties to the organizations that make sense and that are credible with interviews or interviews that have yet to happen, that have been reported and whatnot. So, Barry Trotz right now, his big teams that are interested are Winnipeg, Philly, Vegas, and Detroit. Nothing new on that front there. Those are all the same teams that have been around for the last couple of weeks with Mr. Trotz. Not to mention the fact that Winnipeg comes out, a small local brewery in Winnipeg, and comes out and says that if Barry Trotz signs with the Jets and is their new head coach, that he'll get beer for life and he'll get his own beer named after him. I think it was Little Brown Jug is the one, the brewery that said they would do that. So Barry, come on. At this point, it's obvious, man. You got to come home and take up that offer. Who wouldn't want beer for life? But nonetheless, Bruce Cassidy is a name that really draws a lot of interest to me. When we go over and look at Bruce Cassidy's stats, like we've already talked about Barry Trotz a lot. I feel like we can skip over Barry Trotz. Like I said, Bruce Cassidy is the guy I want to talk about right now because he's a very interesting guy. You know, he played in the NHL for a long time, bouncing around. He played a lot of professional hockey in Europe, in the NHL, in the AHL, and whatever, in the OHL. He's played a lot of hockey. From 81 to 96, his professional career is very long. But his coaching is also very, very interesting. He had a lot of success in the ECHL with Jacksonville in the 90s, Indianapolis Ice in the IHL. He was able to coach with the head coach of the Washington Capitals for 2 years. He lost in the first round in 2002 and 3. He was the assistant coach with the Blackhawks in 05-06. Then he spent some time in the OHL with Kingston, where he lost in the first round in 2006-07. But he had a lot of success with the Bruins and Providence in the mid-2010s, from 2008 to 2015. He was the head coach and assistant coach there for a long time, and before jumping up with the Boston Bruins, having obviously a lot of success there, making the playoffs constantly, losing in the finals, losing in the third round, losing in the second round. He's a guy that has a lot of experience and can win. He's played with teams that are similarly built to the way the Jets are, with veteran presence and a lot of youth as well. He's a guy that uses prospects and isn't afraid to use younger guys, which again, I love. He's got no ties to True North and the Winnipeg Jets 1.0 or 2.0, which again at this point I am all ears for. I think he would be a really good fit for this club long term. I have this gut feeling about him, and I'd be very interested to see him behind the bench with the Jets. And yeah, especially after his tenure with Boston, I think Winnipeg could be a really good fit for Mr. Cassidy. And I hope that if we don't get Trotz, a guy like Bruce would be the next up on that list. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is Jim Montgomery. Now, Jim Montgomery recently, as you guys would know him, would be the coach of the Dallas Stars in 2018 and 19 and 2019-20, as well as the St. Louis Blues in 2020-2021 and 2021-2022 as the assistant. Now, why I think Jim Montgomery would be an okay fit for this team really is because of the fact that I think he meshes well with the type of prospects and players that we have already. I think that he's a guy that could come in and really get the best out of this team that we have right now, and Chevy wouldn't have to tweak too much with him. Now, again, I don't think that any of these two coaches are going to be, other than maybe Cassidy, is on the level of Barry Trotz. I think Barry Trotz is, without a doubt, you know, Barry Trotz or bust. If you're the Jets right now, you need to get him without a doubt. But I think when you go over and just look at his coaching, you look at what he's been able to do, you look at what he has done in the NHL as well in 122 games. He's bounced around a lot. He's experienced when it comes to playing. He's a role guy. He's had some success. He's won 2 championships in the UCHL with in 2010 and in 2012, 2013 as well. You know, he's had success in certain levels of hockey, and I think that when you look at his past 10 years with Dallas, for example, in 2018-19, they lost in the second round. These are good teams. These are teams that were beating the Jets those years. So I don't think it's too far out to say that even with the St. Louis teams in 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2022, I think he got a lot out of insisting and coaching those types of teams. And I think he would be a good coach for the Jets, but he's not obviously number 1. As number 3, I think that he would be okay as that, obviously, but I really think that what it comes down to is Barry Trotz is, you know, without a doubt, it's Barry Trotz or bust. Like, we could talk all day about how Cassidy could be a good fit. You know, he's done no ties to the organization, and without a doubt, if we don't get Trotz and got Cassidy, I'd be okay with that. But a guy like Jim Montgomery is not on that same level, and I really think that the Jets need to do whatever it is in their power to get a guy like Barry Trotz or Cassidy. This organization, this team, this city needs a big-name coach to get this team playing good and be able to keep some type of amount of this team together, because let's be real, as Jets fans, we can complain about the on-ice performance all we want, but at the end of the day, if we trade out guys like Scheifele, if we trade out all these guys that are on this team right now that aren't good fits, are we going to be getting fair value? Hell no. So we're going to be down players that are, even though they're, you know, might be cancers right now, or whatever your thoughts are on them, we need to be able to have this team play at its maximum talent and best that they can to try to get as much out of it as we can. Right now, if we sell off these assets and keep half the team and lose half the team and try to rebuild in the offseason by adding pieces again like we did last year through trades, I'm nervous about that. You know, do I want to see this team completely shaken up a bit? Yeah, but at the same time, not to the point where it loses any identity. And even then, they barely have an identity. And that's why it's such a weird spot to be at as a Jets fan right now. I think if any other situation 2-3 years ago, I think Jim Montgomery, if he got hired, I would have been happy. I don't think I would have complained, but at this point where the Jets are right now, it's Barry Trotz or bust for me. So even though I'm happy to see the Jets are interested in a coach as serious and great as Cassidy, and as well as a guy that has some pedigree like Montgomery, without a doubt it's Barry Trotz or butts for me. So the Barry Trotz hype train continues on this YouTube channel and within this Jets fandom, so let me know what your thoughts are on all this news breaking and who you want to see behind the bench if it's not Barry Trotz. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, if you're new to this channel, regardless of the team that you root for, definitely consider dropping a like and dropping a subscription. It's a great way to show support, and thank you guys so much for all the support as always. I know it's been a little bit spaced out on content lately. It'll be picking up once the season kind of ends. I'm just kind of enjoying my time right now and not stressing about hockey because the playoffs are on. I don't care about the playoffs right now. So with that being said, good luck to Colorado and Tampa Bay in the finals. It'll be an interesting one to say the least. Thanks so much for watching this video. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Enjoy and have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.